Aloha, I'm Kaiwi Miller and welcome to Ocean Paddler. On today's episode, we check out the World Championships of OC1 racing, known simply as the Kaiwi Solo. 32 miles of open ocean between the islands of Moloka'i and Oahu across the often treacherous Kaiwi Channel is the path to being crowned a champion. And this year, paddlers experienced excellent conditions.
We're at the 18th annual Kaiwi Solo. This is the World Championship of OC1 racing, and we have the best athletes in the world here today to represent themselves in this race.
Conditions is unreal. We're going to be between two islands in the middle of the ocean. Everything converges, energy, waves, wind, currents. So it's going to be unreal.
This is the race that everybody trains for. It's the race where bragging rights happen, but also I think it's also a place where people connect.
Everybody knows how hard you have to train to just make it, not only to succeed and, competition-wise, but just to challenge yourself and make it across.
Everybody's here. There's 130-something of us, which is probably our biggest showing in a while. Good luck to all the paddlers. Hopefully we make it across safely.
That 32-mile distance is definitely something that is inspiring.
So the course starts on the west end of Molokai, crosses Kaiwi, and finishes on the island of Oahu. In Moanaloa Bay, 32 miles later.
This is Kaiwi Channel. Kaiwi Channel, I feel like if you hear the name, you know how hard it is. It's changing every moment, every 5 miles. It's like the water's completely different, surf's different, currents are different.
There's not many races you actually are leaving a coast and headed for another coast. So it's quite unique and it's different mentally and perceptually to sort of not run along a coast in a race. There's not many races that do this. So hopefully soon you'll see Oahu and then you'll start pinpointing where you're going to aim on Oahu.
The last part of this race is definitely tricky. You could improve 10 places or lose 10 positions from port lock to the finish.
The Molokai Solo is, to me, the most prestigious one-man race there is. Growing up as a young child, we talked about the Molokai 9-man, and then the Solo came, and that, for me, has always been the number one. If you want to win any race in the world and be considered the best on that day for that year, it's the Molokai Solo.
It really doesn't matter how the races go throughout the season. The Solo is the one that everyone looks at to see, who had a good year, and the winner of the Solo is, the best paddler of the year, pretty much.
We have 125 paddlers coming from all over the world. You got Japan here, Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Canada, Poland, Brazil. We got representation coming from states. It's pretty wide when you talk about where paddling has gotten to and how intense it's gotten with different locations that these guys can compete on this level out here in Kaiwi.
There's something about crossing a channel. This is the Super Bowl of paddling every year. It's a Molokai Solo, so yeah, giddy up.
Next, more action from the 2025 Kaiwi Solo. By its very nature, the sport of one-man outrigger canoe paddling, or OC1, is highly competitive. So it's no surprise that the Kaiwi Solo attracts some of the best watermen and women from across the planet.
So yeah, they say one boat on the water is a cruise, two boats is a race. So this is having this many great paddlers out there it's going to be a big competition. I know Tristan Kohokeli, he's out here again. He's been top 2 or 3 the last couple of years. My personal favorite, and I think the favorite for the race, Rylan Hart. He's out here again. I've had the pleasure of training with him and racing with him for years. Outside of that, I love being able to meet all of my friends from Tahiti that come out. So I know Stevie Boy's out here, Monte Million, Kevis, Jerusalem, he's here. And I heard Kyle Tarafuga came out.
You know, this race has some of the best, really. You know, we have a bunch of vacation names. It's really just preparing yourself to go head-to-head with them because they're not going to give you anything and you don't give them anything. And I think it's cool to line up with these guys.
So I feel like even if you're not battling for first place, you got some guy next to you, and to beat that person is like kind of a win in itself. So I feel like there's going to be multiple races on that course, and everyone's going to jock to get in front, especially if there's someone pushing next to you. You kind of want to push a little harder.
So Moloka'i Solo is solo. It's you, and it's you against the elements. So physically, you got to do the work. You'll be prepared, but you don't actually know. Right around 2 hours, you kind of recognize like, okay, I did it, I'm ready. And that's just the physical portion. So we call it the solo because you're the one guy with the name on the results. But realistically, there's a lot of people that put in time and effort to help you be here.
The challenge of going 32 miles without ever getting out is always going to take a toll on you. So this race takes a lot of training, a lot of work to get you prepared for it, along with having to navigate with your escort boat, telling you where you are, what course you're on, and just being out there alone and relying on yourself, relying on everything you put in.
It's really, I think, it's a huge step up from like doing relay teams, and because you can just get out and rest, right? But here you cannot. You gotta just keep going strong, and it's only you out there.
The top women on this course, Lauren Spalding, complete legend. She's won it multiple times, and she's someone everyone looks up to, I feel like. Beata Markin's another strong competitor, and there's, Hoku out there. I think Iloha's coming from Tahiti, who's also, wild card. No one's ever raced her in an OC1, so it's kind of exciting to see how she's going to do and how well the course treats her, and all of us, really.
Here is my first OC1 race. I'm rudderless paddler, so for me, I don't expect nothing. I'm just here trying to do my best on that kind of race. I know that the girl here know this water, know that they can. It will be interesting for me, and I will learn a lot for sure.
And then they're also a stacked field for the biggest for juniors, which is incredible because I think now juniors are crossing the channel and owning it, and not even like it's normal. So it's incredible that they can do that. The parents support it.
I think it's really important because this is like the heart of the sport, this race. So to get more juniors doing this is really important.
Next, more action from the 2025 Kaiwi Solo. The ability to paddle 32 miles of rough, open ocean on a one-man canoe takes years of training and practice. Becoming one with the ocean and the canoe elevates top paddlers to the next level.
Catching a wave on an OC1 is one of the most fun things you can do. Being able for me to get on a canoe, So paddle and do what I love, and then get in the ocean and catch a wave is just so freeing. There's no crowds, no one's in your way dropping it on you, and you get all of the sensation of riding, being free and going fast. And now throw that into a race. I get to go do that with my friends, and I get to try and pass them on a wave. We always say we teach technique and paddling and all the ways you can go fast, and the fastest technique, 2 hands over your head, big smile on a wave.
The thing that for me that separates this sport from other long distance marathon like sports is you have to have that balance of peak performance athletically as well as having this sort of balanced dance like nature with nature. You know, you got to be in tune with the ocean, you got to understand, you know, what the waves are going to do, you have to feel your canoe where it's going to go, you know, you can't fight it.
You can paddle and train as much as you want, but if you're not catching the right waves, you're in the bushes. And yeah, you got to take it, you got to find it, you got to commit all in. If you're not surfing, you're fighting it. I kind of do that a lot. I fight the ocean, and then I got to remember to relax and work with it.
Surfing in this channel can really like put a gap on your competitors, and it's definitely important in matters of training wise and being ready. Knowing how to surf is definitely an advantage for some guys.
I think also just mentally, you know, you feel that glide and being able to connect waves. So I think mentally you feel like you're getting there faster too. You're just having fun, which I think is also really important in a long race like this. Just have fun, you know, the stoke that you get when you're on a wave.
It's a very mental race for sure. You know, you can do all the preparation you want in advance, but within the top group of guys, everybody's fit, everybody's been training, right? So that extra edge really comes down to, you know, who's the most dialed in the surf, you know, who spent the most time in their canoe and able to harness the ocean the best. And then also, you know, who can overcome the mental side of things and stay focused, stay surfing well, not be bothered by somebody maybe getting a couple bumps ahead of them and having to claw back, right? It's very mental, and you just have to stay focused for this race that can be, you know, 4 hours plus.
I think the race will start when you have to fight against yourself. And I think it's the main part of that kind of race, very long and by yourself. You have to fight against yourself, and that's scary because you don't know how you will be at so far and so long.
Now, the last hour, as people like to say, burying the rabbit, usually that's when Rabbit Island starts getting hidden. But as we get closer to the island, we start getting ourselves a little bit of reverb off the wall, getting a little headwind. Because as we come around channel walls, we have a few more obstacles to avoid.
Kind of get this sense of, okay, we're here, we made it to Oahu, now we just got to get all the way back in and cross that finish line. So coming along over the wall and punching through and riding that reverb, it's fun to some people, and some people it can be really hard if you're super tired. Then of course coming in Port Lock, you gotta watch out for waves at China Walls. Like, you could end your race right there. You can get all the way like 1 mile from the finish and then just end up on dry reef, broken boat, gotta pull out.
I've seen people not finish 1 mile from the finish, and I've gone over the rocks myself, and it's cost me several places, and I've gone over the rocks and made it, and I've won because of it. And normally about this time of the race, we think we can make good decisions and do wonderful, magical physical activities. We're not quite as good as we remember.
Next, it's into the finish line at the 2025 Kaiwi Solo. It's always that last 8 or 10 miles of the Kaiwi Solo that can make or break a paddler's race. And this year, there was some heavy action all the way to the finish line.
The conditions were amazing. It was like just perfect wave there. You can connect. It was big, but not that big. It was just perfect. Perfect. You can connect. It was amazing. I have like my cheeks burning, and so I was smiling all along.
To get 20 plus miles an hour in the channel is always a special thing. And to be able to be surfing majority of the channel. Today was a little technical, I would say. A little bit moving current, moving waves from left and right, but that's the part of the challenge, you know, that's what keeps it exciting. But we're fortunate with good conditions again. Today was crazy, you know, the starting line, everyone was battling with each other. Majority of the channel, I feel like me, Kevin Saran Drusalemi, and along with Tuteadi Hoatuo, the three of us like just stared each other down, looked at each other on our lines, and just kept our heads down.
I have Pagdolan on my boat, that's why maybe I had a little bit sure about my static of high line. I was scared because the wind come from the front, and then I was thinking the waves gonna broke on me, so it doesn't broke. Yeah, I was like, "Shit, man, why I didn't take?"
Hour 3.5, they were like, oh, Prison's south of you. And then we came into the point together. She went wide and I cut it. It was in between sets, so I kind of scored on that because that was a gamble. But that was what I had to do because I didn't want to have to slide left. That was my path. And so we were, you know, I made some ground on her coming past pillars. She was in the head, in like a radical headwind, and I was kind of catching a little bump. And so I was like, okay, so I passed her at one point coming in, and I was like, I knew it was going to be just a dog fight to the finish, you know?
I knew Lauren was around. I know she surfed down towards me. I think I made it to the point before her, but she came inside and worked that inside and just made so much money. And by the time I passed the pillars, when I looked to my right, she was right next to me. So it was like the hardest I worked to get to the finish, and it felt so good to battle a friend and like someone I look up to in paddling.
Yeah, no, it was a big accomplishment for me. So I tried to coming back on the good level. So I start training this year very early than last year, especially for this race and Pa'a Solo. I'm happy to win today. I just want to say thank you, God. Thank to my girlfriend Mihiti, support me the whole course. She was on the boat. She pushed me hard today.
I mean, you train for months hoping that you're doing it right, hoping the conditions are going to be good, and it just means so much to do well. You know, I feel like everything's paid off, all the sacrifices the family's made, so it feels good.
They all want to be out there in Kaiwi experiencing the Kaiwi, and I feel like that's what lures people to be here, and even over their commitment to their training and representing their countries and all that. I feel like the one thing that everybody would have that would connect everybody is Kaiwi and what Kaiwi represents and how they feel when they're out there in that channel. So I think that's the one connection that all of us can make.
That was some amazing paddling action with quite a few tight battles into the finish line. Congratulations to all those paddlers, but especially these top finishers. and newly crowned champions. In 5th place, it was Kahanu Amanitad from Haleiwa. In 4th, Beata Markin from Hungary. In 3rd, Iloha Eshin from Tahiti. In 2nd, Lauren Spalding from Kula. And less than a minute ahead of her, our new champion with a time of 4 hours and 12 minutes, Kristen Foster from Hanalei, Kauai. And for the men, in 5th place, it was Travis Grant from Australia. In 4th, Kyle Taraufau from Tahiti. In 3rd, Tristan Kaho'okele Santos from Pukalani, Maui. In 2nd, Tuteari'i Hoatua from Tahiti. And again, with less than 1 minute separating 1st and 2nd place, with a time of 3 hours and 26 minutes, our champion is Kevin Saran Jerusalemi from Tahiti. For detailed race results, you can check out pa'ahawaii.com. That's all the time we have for this episode of Ocean Paddler. I'm Kala'i Miller. And until next time, hoi pa'a.